Hello everyone, welcome to Melasoft's webinar. Today we're going to discuss an S4HANA implementation, our best practices and strategies. This year we did start an S4HANA project, so we thought we'd offer our advice about best practices and strategies. I'm joined by Yavuz, who's our head of SAP. He'll be taking you through the processes. And I'm sales manager and I'm located in Frankfurt, Germany. So on today's agenda, I'm going to do a company introduction regarding Melasoft, and then we'll move on to understanding SAP S4HANA, and then we'll move on to S4HANA business functions, and then strategic decisions for migrating to SAP S4HANA and migration strategies. And then we'll discuss at the end SAP Activate Methodology as well. Who are Melasoft? So we were established in 2013 and active in the IT sector. We're headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany, which is where I'm located. And we also have offices in Istanbul and Ankara. We do provide innovative solutions for digital transformation. And we also act in the SAP and non-SAP area, providing solutions in these areas. We also are constantly expanding the scope in which we operate in. It's also important to highlight our services, so we can offer SAP project management, SAP modules, consultancies specifically related to logistics and finance. We can offer SAP integration services. We can custom application development as well, outsourcing consultancy, and also provide training services as well. Here you can see the countries in which we're operating in. So we operate in Europe, Central Asia, and also in some places in North Africa as well. Some of our SAP solutions that we offer at Melasoft. So we offer SAP GDPR solutions, SAP integration solutions, SAP financial solutions, and also SAP smart banking applications. And you can see the subcategories there as well on slide. We also offer compliance solutions, which are quite popular with our current customers. So we can offer e-invoice solutions, e-archive, VAT reporting, SAFT and e-leisure as well, e-transportation, waybill and dispatch, virtual warehouse, e-accounting slip, recycling fee declaration, and FNO 328 as well. And also we offer non-SAP solutions, so we operate in the fintech area as well, so we can offer solutions there. We offer commercial solutions that can fit your business, and also we're quite strong on software development as well, so we can create tools for your business specifically. Most recently, we have moved into blockchain solutions as well. On slide, you can see our website. If you're curious, please visit our website, melasoft.com, and you can view all our compliance solutions and our consulting services as well. And here, I'm going to pass you over to Yavuz, and he's going to introduce S4HANA for you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome you all. My name is Yavuz Zurdak, and I am the SAP Department Manager at Melasoft. Today, first of all, I will start with understanding SAP S4HANA. It will be a main introduction and also the main promises of the S4HANA systems. First of all, as you know, SAP S4HANA is an ERP suite. It is based on SAP HANA in-memory database, which is a new database that is implemented by SAP in 2011. It allows to companies to make transactions and analyze business data in real time. S4HANA is the digital core of the SAP strategies, and it enables the customers to undergo the digital transformation. So this allows the customers to be more flexible, more responsive, and more resilient to changing business requirements, customer demands, and environmental conditions because of the digital transformation. So the SAP S4HANA system uses the in-memory technology platform SAP HANA which overcomes the technical restrictions that traditional databases has. So these technical limitations are removed. Also, the digital core of the central mission-critical business processes such as accounting, logistics, procurement, and sales and distributions are the main processes at the digital core. And also the design of the SAP is based on the core concepts. First of all, the applications are simplified, embedded analytics features are gained, machine learning is implemented, and cloud-first approach is implemented together with the on-premise versions as well. So what are the main promises of SAP? The first one is the simplification of the functionality. As you know, with the advancement of technology, the business requirements increase and the functionality requirements grows over the year. So to match these new business trends, integrated solutions are needed. SAP initially provided mappings of business requirements are supplemented and extended, and some new applications are developed to catch with these new business requirements and trends. So with SAP S/4HANA, SAP is committed to the principle of one, which means that a business requirement is mapped only to one target architecture. The second promise is the simplification of data structures. As I said at the beginning, in 2011, the SAP implemented the new SAP HANA in-memory database, which supplements the technical framework of the traditional databases. In traditional database, as you know, the data was mainly stored on hard drives. Because of the limited capacity of memory, this results in some problems. So this limitation is removed with the SAP HANA database, and the programming methods for applications run on the in-memory databases. SAP S/4HANA uses this database and it leverages these new options and optimizes the business applications to use the potential of this database. So to use the full potential of SAP HANA database, S/4HANA is the main system that can be used. So it increases the access speed, and also this results in speed up in the process and efficiency of the processes extensively. The next promise is the simplified user interface. Especially this is one of the new proceedings of the SAP system, SAP S/4HANA system, the Fiori, SAP Fiori, which meets the advanced user interface requirements. So SAP Fiori is an intuitive user interface. It is developed considering the advanced design principles, and it is available on all end devices such as mobile devices, desktops, and tablets, and also it allows role-based user experience. So using these user interfaces, SAP system is now much more efficient. Another promise is a simplified analysis. We are in an increasingly complex world, and more detailed information is needed for decision-making process. So to provide precise analytical data, it's always been a challenge, and it has become more and more important in the last years. So SAP has increased its simplified analysis, and by using the SAP HANA embedded analytics tool, decision-making process will be much more efficient and easier. So in this part, I will talk about the main SAP business functions, including accounting, logistics, human resources, and procurement, which are the digital core of the SAP S/4HANA system. So as a modern digital ERP suite, SAP S/4HANA forms the core of the central business, especially the processes, accounting, logistics, human resources, procurement, and marketing operations. And customers can use these modules over the SAP S/4HANA or the SAP S/4HANA cloud systems. For the accounting side, the number of processes increases, and this results in extreme workloads on traditional ERP systems. So SAP S/4HANA has all capabilities of an advanced accounting system, and by using the intuitive SAP Fiori-based user interfaces, the data structures are simplified and accounting processes can be managed much more efficiently. Also, the financial functions in SAP S/4HANA supports all transactions that are relevant for accounting in logistics and human resources as well. The transactions are posted in real time because of the automatic account determination option, and as a result, all logistic quantity transactions and value-based accounting updates can be done in real time, and they have the same identical statuses in the system. For the logistics side, with the digital transformation, it resulted in new requirements in logistics and production processes. Especially with the digital transformation, first of all, the products are highly customized, highly personalized products are required by the market. Also, supply chains becomes more digitalized, and also new service-oriented business models existed in the spare part and repair processing areas. So the ERP systems should manage these new developments in the digital transformation, and to match these requirements, switch to the SAP S/4HANA system. The other core business area is the human resources, especially the trend in the human resources is the outsourcing. This is reflected in the human resources, especially the increasing cost pressures and the options provided by the digital platforms. Outsourced business processes to the clouds in the HR area is required by the market. And in SAP S/4HANA, cloud-based functions combined with SAP SuccessFactors match these requirements also. Finally, from the procurement side, with the digital transformation, more and more devices and machines become intelligent and linked, become information hubs that are linked to each other. The machines becomes more advanced using this advanced sensor technologies. The machines can submit their maintenance requirements to the ERP system. So this resulted in need for automation in purchasing units. Especially material requirement processes needs to be automated. The procurement function in SAP S/4HANA maps all of these common purchasing processes from strategic to operational levels. Also, SAP HANA's integration with the cloud-based Ariba networks and SAP Field Glass solutions optimizes the electronic and interactive processes extensively over the supply chains. So after this introduction for the SAP S/4HANA system, now we come to the main topics, the strategic decisions for migrating to SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA is a product family. In general, the products differentiate between on-premise edition or on the cloud edition. So depending on the company's choice, it can be on cloud or it can be on premise. All members of SAP S/4HANA product family are based on the same programming code, and users will only see the differences between the editions from the different UI concepts. The SAP S/4HANA Cloud provides SAP-based, Fiori-based user interfaces, while the SAP S/4HANA on-premise version allows to use traditional interfaces. But as I said, they have the same programming code, but the user interfaces are different. So what are the strategic decisions for migrating to SAP S/4HANA? For this, some basic decisions should be made. First of all, the customer should select the type of system landscape and decide which SAP S/4HANA functions will be needed and used. So as a first step, the client should select whether to run SAP on-premise, which means that the software is utilized on enterprise hardware, or in cloud, in which the software is leased and hosted by a provider, or in a hybrid scenario in which some parts of the business scenarios outsourced to the cloud and other parts are kept on-premise. So it's a combination of on-premise and in-cloud version. So the first decision is related with selection of the location of the SAP S/4HANA system. The second decision point is deciding whether you want to leverage migration process to redesign all of the existing business processes, which means that Greenfield approach, or keep these business processes with minimal alteration, which is the Brownfield approach. Also, we have a combination approach, which is the Bluefield approach, which is a combination of Greenfield and Brownfield approaches. So these two main decisions should be made at the strategic level during the S/4HANA migration. The first operating model is the on-premise operating model for the SAP S/4HANA system. In this system, the customer runs and manages the operations of the software and hardware. They are owned by the customer and they are operated by the customer. The customer has the full control of the hardware and software, and also the customer achieves maximum flexibility in terms of custom enhancements. So to make custom enhancements, on-premise operating model is more suitable. If the companies have several customizations and they need a customized SAP system, then on-premise operating model is the choice. Also, the customer is also fully responsible for the availability of the software as well as access, security, and system stability. So all of these issues are related with the customer. In addition to the costs for hardware and software, the companies should also have some IT experts for introducing, managing, and maintaining the software. So in terms of cost, on-premise version is more costlier because of hardware, software, and IT experts costs. The second model is the cloud operating model. In the cloud operating model, the customer does not operate or manage the software himself, but rather some service providers are used for this purpose. The software and the corresponding services are leased for a period of time in the cloud operating model, and hardware and operating system software are not required on-premise, so they are used from the cloud. For using cloud operating model, of course, internet access is mandatory, and also in cloud, the infrastructure is usually shared by multiple customers. So the same infrastructure are used among several customers. This results in lower costs. In cloud operating model, customization options compared to the premise model is lower, limited. So some standard products, some more standardized SAP implementations can be used over the cloud. On the other hand, from the data security standards and perspective, the cloud edition may provide higher security as it has more security rules and standardizations. The third model is the hybrid operating model. In this model, as expected, some parts of the business scenarios are on-premise and some parts are operated in the cloud. In hybrid operating model, it enables a combination of the characteristics that are available on-premise operating model and the cloud operating model. In this hybrid model, some core areas of the enterprise for which a high degree of control is required, they are kept on-premise. On the other hand, the other functions can be operated from the cloud. So here, a decision point, which operations will be maintained in the premise and which one will be maintained on the cloud, this decision should be done. So hybrid operating model is a combination of the previous two models and has advantages and disadvantages compared to others. Here you see a comparison of on-premise and cloud models. In terms of licensing model, on-premise model you have a traditional licensing model, but for the cloud edition you have a subscription-based licensing model. In terms of infrastructure and maintenance, as I explained in the previous slides, on-premise model the customer has the full control. However, on cloud edition model, SAP provides the system and is responsible for the maintenance of the system. From the speed of innovation perspective, in the premise model, customer has the full control over the speed of innovation, so plans all of these process. On the other hand, in the cloud model, cloud customers participate automatically on quarterly innovation upgrades. So innovation upgrades are done quarterly, so the customer should wait for the updates. In terms of implementation approaches, on-premise model is highly individual requirements, as said in the previous part, can be implemented. So customization is not limited, but in the cloud model, some predefined best practice configurations with limited specification can be implemented. From the functional scope, in on-premise model, you have the full ERP scope, but on-premise cloud model, you have key scenarios and some embedded ERP scenarios in the cloud edition. Finally, from the custom code perspective, in on-premise model, you can use full traditional ABAP extensibility to use the core modification. On the other hand, in the cloud model, this is limited. For the migration scenarios, we have three main migration scenarios for S4HANA. The first one is the new implementation from on-premise and cloud model to on-cloud and premise models from SAP ERP system or non-SAP system. System conversion is possible from SAP ERP system to on-premise SAP S4HANA system. And also we have selective data transition from SAP ERP system in different regions to SAP S4HANA system on-premise or cloud. For the new implementation of SAP S4HANA, This is the first migration approach. In this approach, allows the companies to completely reinvent their ERP environment. So in this implementation approach, in this new implementation approach, the ERP system is completely renovated. And also, at the same time, migration data from the existing SAP or legacy environment into this new solution is required. This strategy is typically used by companies that have determined their existing ERP environment is no longer serving their current or future business needs. So if your current ERP system does not meet your requirements and it is old, it does not support new technological developments, technological requirements, then new implementation of SAP S4HANA is the best choice for your company. For the system conversion, this transition path is used by the businesses on SAP ERP 6.0 or newer versions who wants to minimize the disruption to their existing business operations. Companies using this approach have kept their IT environments close to the latest release of the SAP software, and they can add some custom codes depending on your requirements. So they benefit from the new capabilities that S4HANA system has, such as Universal Journal, Embedded Analytics, or SAP Fiori user interface. So these new capabilities can be joined without when minimizing the disruption on the existing system. This is just an upgrade from old SAP system to the new one. And also we have selective data transition model. In this approach, the companies prefer a system conversion, but also they require a sizable work in the standardization of their environment. For instance, the companies that might want to innovate their financial processes while reusing their existing logistic functionality. They want to use old system logistic functionality, but they want to use new innovative financial processes, so they can use selective data transition for their migration approach. So in this approach, only a subset of data is migrated from legacy system to the new system. In migration planning, SAP provides some tools during the planning phase. First of all, SAP Innovation and Optimization Pathfinder, SAP Transformation Navigator, and SAP Readiness Check for SAP S4HANA are the main tools that can be used during the planning. SAP Innovation and Optimization Pathfinder is a tool that can be used for identification of opportunities for innovation and optimization of the existing SAP system. So this tool provides a detailed analysis of your current SAP system, and it suggests some potential improvements and innovations, considering your specific business needs and industry practices. So this tool helps your organization to identify innovation opportunities, optimize existing processes, reduce total cost of ownership, and stay current with the SAP technologies. The second tool is the SAP Transformation Navigator, which is a tool that helps businesses to plan and execute digital transformation. It provides a structured approach, and it guides the organizations during the process of transformation. And the key functions are solution recommendations. It recommends some solutions. It provides a roadmap and the phases, integration planning, and change management and training. So these are the main key functions of SAP Transformation Navigator. Additionally, SAP Readiness Check is another tool that can be used during the migration. This tool is designed for the preparation of organizations for an SAP system upgrade or migration to the cloud. It can be used for assessing the readiness of your SAP landscape for the planned changes. So what it provides a technical system analysis report, custom code analysis, business process analysis, and recommendations and action items for the clients. So using these tools, you can plan and execute your migration process much more effectively and efficiently. The next stage is the determination of the migration strategy. So which strategy to be used during the migration, the Greenfield approach, Brownfield approach, or the Bluefield, in other words, hybrid approach, which migration strategy to be used. So depending on the company's requirements, these three strategies are possible. There is no good way or bad way to go using these approaches, because each approach has some advantages, each approach has some disadvantages, but for different scenarios, different approaches are suitable. So these advantages and disadvantages should be identified according to your company's needs. Let's start with the Greenfield implementation. In Greenfield implementation, a new SAP system is built from scratch. So a new environment without any legacy data or process. So you start from scratch. It's a clean slate approach. So, and the existing systems are not directly integrated or migrated. Completely build a new system. What are the advantages of Greenfield implementation? First of all, it's a clean start. So you make a clean start, you start with a fresh, clean SAP environment, so you can adopt the latest technologies and best practices in your system. From the optimization perspective, all processes and configurations can be tailored to fit organization's current needs and future needs. Also, it reduces the complexity because there is no legacy system to consider, and it reduces potential integration challenges at the same time. So in using Greenfield implementation, you have to consider three main issues. The first one is the data migration, because you have to transfer historical data to the new system, and transferring this data may require a separate effort because the data should be cleaned, should be formatted according to new standards and templates. So you have a separate effort for data migration. Also, training and change management is another issue. Employees will require training on the new system, and as a result of this, potentially it will be higher in terms of cost, and it will take longer time compared to other implementations. For the Brownfield implementation, it's an approach where an existing SAP system is upgraded, transformed, or migrated to the new version or module. So it involves the reconfiguration or enhancing of an existing SAP landscape. So in Brownfield approach, actually you upgrade, transform, or migrate an older version to the new version. What are the advantages of Brownfield implementation? First of all, preservation of investment. So you preserve the existing data, process, and configurations are retained, which leads to cost saving. On the other hand, it provides incremental changes, it allows more gradual changes, and it reduces the disruptions, potential disruptions. In Brownfield implementation, what are the considerations? First of all, the legacy constraints. So you have to consider the legacy system. You may be constrained by the existing configurations or outdated technologies in your legacy system. So this is the risk in the Brownfield implementation. To remove the inefficiencies, the legacy system should be optimized, even some processes may be redesigned. Also, it is potential for technical debt. Older customizations and customizations might be needed to revisit it and optimize in Brownfield implementation approach. So the third implementation approach is the Bluefield implementation approach, which is a combination of the first two. In Bluefield implementation combines the elements of both Greenfield and Brownfield approach. In this approach, you create a new SAP environment and then selectively integrate existing system and processes. In this case, you selectively integrate existing system and the new system. What are the advantages? First of all, it's a balanced approach. So it allows the adoption of the new technologies where you still leverage the existing investment and data. On the other hand, it minimizes disruption. Existing processes and systems can be used to operate while the new environment is developed. Finally, it is flexible because organizations can choose which parts of the existing landscape to be integrated and which parts not. So this is the flexibility that Bluefield implementation provides. In this implementation approach, what are the considerations? First of all, integration complexity. Depending on the existing systems, integration efforts can be complex. So this is the main complexity. Also, data mapping and transformation. Data from the existing systems should be mapped, transformed to fit the new environment. This is the other complexity that we also observe in the Greenfield implementation as well. In this slide, we have a summary of these three strategies. As I said, to summarize, in the Greenfield implementation, you start from scratch. You do not have any legacy system constraint. It is highly flexible. So all of the business processes can be realigned according to best practices, and SAP standard and best practices can be implemented. However, it takes longer time and it has higher costs. For the Brownfield implementation, on the other hand, it leverages existing systems. So it's an upgrade and optimize an existing SAP system. It preserves some of the legacy elements. It is cost effective because it requires fewer resources compared to the Greenfield approach. And also the main risk is the risk of carrying the inefficiencies from the old system. So this is the main risk in the Brownfield implementation. For the Bluefield implementation, on the other hand, it is a hybrid approach, as I said. It optimizes existing processes. It seeks to improve processes while reusing some existing configurations as well. So it's the balanced approach. It balances cost and innovation. At one side, innovations that the new system introduces, and you balance the cost. And also the main challenge is the planning. So in Bluefield implementation, the planning should be done very carefully because some of the functionalities will be implemented in the new system, some of them will not be implemented. So a careful planning is required in the Bluefield implementation. So we come to the SAP Activate methodology, the phases and tools that can be used for the SAP Activate methodology. SAP Activate is a methodology that is developed by the SAP company for guiding organizations during the process of implementation and adoption of new SAP S/4HANA solution. So to implement SAP S/4HANA, SAP Activate methodology is the proposed methodology by SAP, and it guides the organizations during the implementation and adoption of the SAP solution. It is designed to accelerate the deployment process, and it enables businesses to quickly realize the value from their new investments. So it has three main benefits: the SAP best practices, the methodology, and guided configuration. These are the main tools in the Activate methodology, and also SAP Activate incorporates agile and lean principles, which are more flexible and adaptable during the project execution phase. These are the new project management approaches that are used in the industry. So agile and lean principles are incorporated in the SAP Activate methodology, so the project management can be made much more effectively and efficiently. Here you see the main considerations for the SAP Activate methodology. First of all, the guidance and the deliverables. SAP Activate provides a comprehensive set of templates, guides, and tools for the companies during their projects. So at each stage of the SAP Activate methodology, you have some templates, you have guides, you have tools that you can use during the project. Also, it includes some project charts, roadmaps, test scripts, and some other benefits as well. On the other hand, SAP best practices is another benefit. SAP Activate incorporates the SAP's best practices and years of experience in implementing their solutions. So this is very important. You can use the best practice from the market that SAP has already tested and implemented that are standardized process. These processes can be used in your system. On the other hand, SAP Activate methodology supports both agile and iterative approaches. So depending on which project management approach is used, it supports both of them. And also, it tailors the methodology. During the methodology can be reshaped, can be adapted to different company structures, different industries, different organizational structures, different project sizes, etc. Here you see the phases of SAP Activate methodology. We have discover phase, prepare phase, explore phase, realize phase, deploy phase, and run phase. In each phase, the main activities are summarized in the slide. In the discover phase, first of all, the system is tried to be understood. The business requirements are defined, and also the project scope is identified, and potential alternative solutions are also determined at the discover phase. In the prepare phase, the project team determines the sets of the technical environment, initial workshops are conducted, and the project plan is prepared. In the explore phase, the team elaborates on the requirements and configures the system, and the iterative testing is done to validate the solution. In the realize phase, the configuration is finalized, the system integrations are completed, and production environment is prepared. Finally, in the deploy phase, the solution is deployed to the production environment, and it is closely monitored in case of any issues. After deployment, after the product is deployed to the live system, of course, during the run period, it covers the transition from project mode to the operation mode, where the system is actively used by the business. And also SAP Activate Methodology provides some tools for using the methodology. SAP Solution Manager is one of these tools. SAP Solution Manager is a central platform that can be used for managing the entire SAP landscape. It provides tools for project planning, system configuration, testing, and monitoring. Additionally, SAP Activate Methodology, another SAP Activate Methodology tool is the SAP Cloud ALM. It is a cloud-based tool that complements the SAP Solution Manager, and it is specifically designed for especially cloud-based solutions. Also, SAP Activate Methodology provides a roadmap viewer, is a visual representation of the phases and deliverables in the SAP Activate Methodology. It serves as a reference for the project team. So depending on the selected approach, Greenfield, Brownfield, or other methodology, and depending on the main requirements, this roadmap viewer can be used in the project planning, and it can be customized according to your company and your requirements, of course. So this is the end of my presentation. If you have questions or comments, I am glad to answer.
Thanks a lot, Yavuz, for your time and explaining that. A lot of slides. And we'll wait a few minutes for any questions, and then we can answer them. We've got one question, Yavuz, and it says, what are the key considerations before embarking on an S/4HANA implementation? What do you think?
Maybe this phase is one of the most critical phases in SAP implementation, because it is very crucial to conduct a thorough assessment of the organization's current IT landscape, and also the business processes, and also the data quality. So before embarking on a SAP project, these issues should be reviewed. Also, the hardware and software requirements should be evaluated. Also, the stakeholders and decision makers should be aligned for the ERP project, and a clear business case for the migration should also be established to not face with any restriction, any limitation during the project. So before embarking the SAP project, as we briefly introduced in the slides, a thorough system assessment should be conducted. For this, the tools that we discussed during the presentation can be used as well.
Let me just read one. What about best practices for data migration during S/4HANA implementation?
Yes, data migration is one of the most critical aspects for SAP S/4HANA implementation, because data is very critical. If you have problems in data, then the system will not work smoothly and correctly. So best practices include, first of all, cleansing the data. The data should be cleansed, it should be reduplicated, and some data governance policies should be established. The data should be tested, and the data migration tools that SAP provides should be employed, and also, as I said, the templates, the data templates should be used and prepared before the data migration. So data migration should be planned at the very beginning of the project, and all of the data that are needed in the SAP system, master data and other relevant data, should be prepared according to templates. And as I said, the old data from the legacy system should be carefully evaluated, it should be cleaned, the incomplete data should be completed, and then after all data is prepared, then migration process should be initiated.
Okay, thank you. Also, we've got another question. How can organizations ensure user adoption and training for SAP S/4HANA?
Yes, this is one of the main challenges for using the ERP systems, specifically S/4HANA system. It is not just an upgrade because S/4HANA provides some new tools, some new technologies, and so the users may have a resistance to use the new system. So to ensure a successful user adoption, the organization should develop a comprehensive training plan, considering the needs of different user groups. So for technical users, for end users, some different training sessions should be planned, and the capabilities of the new system should be explained during these sessions. And also the documentation is very critical. SAP has very good documentation. The documentations can be used. The e-learning modules can also be used. And also some support forms can also be used for solving the problems. So another important issue is a form of fostering a culture of continuous learning. This is also very important. So the trainings should be done during the years at different times, considering the needs and the necessities of the users, so that the users can adopt the system, can get accustomed to use the capabilities of SAP S/4HANA system.
We've got one more. What are the key challenges for organizations when they what they might face during an S/4HANA implementation? How can they be mitigated?
Yes, during the ERP system integrations, implementations, there are some common challenges. As I said in the previous question, the first one is the internal resistance to change, because people, the users get accustomed to use the previous processes. Despite their inefficiencies, they want to use these processes, and they have a resistance for using the new processes. However, as I said, to remove this resistance, the trainings should be done, the efficiencies, the advantages of the new processes should be explained, and of course, it should be checked, it should be monitored. In addition to that, some technical complexities may arise during the SAP implementation. Data quality related problems may occur, as we answered in the one of the previous questions, because data related problems are one of the main problems, the data quality problems. The data should be, data migration should be done carefully. All data should be cleansed, missing data should be completed, and it should be prepared according to templates. Also, another potential problem is related with the disruptions during the operations, because in SAP ERP implementations, the business operations are ongoing, and during these processes, during these daily processes, you are integrating, you are upgrading the system, or you are implementing a new SAP system. So in order not to disturb these daily business processes, careful planning is required. So for the project, the tasks, the planning should be done carefully, considering the daily working requirements of the employees, because the same employees, if the same end users will take part during the ERP implementation phase. So the planning is very, very critical at this phase. So these are the main challenges during the ERP implementation.
Yeah.
However, as for all of the planning, project planning is of great significance. Time planning, resource planning are very critical to mitigate these problems.
Okay. And we'll just do one more, and then we can finish up. What post-implementation strategies are recommended for maintaining the S/4HANA environment?
This issue is also important. We do not mention during the presentation. However, after the implementation, the health of the system is of great significance, because if you want to use the system without any problem, you have to consider you have to develop some post-implementation strategies. What can be these strategies? First of all, you should establish a support structure for solving the problems, for solving the encountered problems during the system usage. So this support structure can be used for solving the daily problems of the users. Also, some performance checks should be done on regular basis, daily, weekly, monthly, etc. So the system performance should be monitored, and if some problems are detected, the causes should be identified. Also, periodic health checks should be done. SAP updates should be checked. So once a SAP publishes an update, this update should be planned and done. SAP best practices should be applied as much as possible, because when you use the SAP standardized processes during the updates, your system can be used without any problem. So if it is possible, SAP best practices should be employed. Other than this, the SAP communities can be engaged. The conferences, user groups can be, this is important for the technical users especially. So in these forums, the users share their ideas, their problems, their support issues. So you can follow these groups to solve the problems much more quickly. These can be some implementation strategies, post-implementation strategies for solving the problems.
Yeah, yeah, but it's never simple. It's always complex, let's say. What we'll do is we can finish up now. I want to say thank you to everyone that attended and the people that asked the questions. If we didn't answer the questions, we can get back to you privately and we can answer them for you. If you're curious about any other S4HANA topics, you can get in touch with us by visiting our website, melasoft.com, or emailing us at info@melasoft.com, or my email address, which is bradleybirch@melasoft.com as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Yavuz, for presenting, and have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks for your participation. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.